Compiled and presented by Flixada. In this video, we are going to talk about Grasim Industries. Grasim is a leading global producer of viscose staple fiber, the largest chlor-alkali, linen and insulators player in India. Through its subsidiaries, Ultratech Cement and Aditya Birla Capital, it is also India's largest cement producer and a leading diversified financial services player. Grasim Industries has a market capitalization of 679.696 billion at the time of making this video. Its stock price made an all-time high of Rs 1,293 on the 2nd of November 2017. In past 5 years, the stock price made a low of Rs 400 on the 24th of March 2020. This stock gave compounded annual growth of 34% over past 1 year, -5% over past 3 years, and 13% over past 5 years. In past 12 months, Grasim Industries had a revenue of Rs 703.0 billion and a gross profit of Rs 411.2 billion. As compared to previous fiscal year, in the past 12 months, it has seen a revenue decline of 8.4%. On the 31st of March 2020, Grasim Industries reported a total revenue of Rs 767.5 billion and has seen a revenue growth of 6.3% from the previous year. The company reported an EBITDA of Rs 129.6 billion. Now let us look at some key financial ratios to gauge how good or bad this stock is. Its beta value, which is a measure of volatility of stock, is 0.92. This means the stock moves with less volatility than the market. High beta stocks are supposed to be riskier but provide higher return potential. Low beta stocks pose less risk but also lower returns. Based on the last 12 months, the price to earnings ratio is 20.28. The price to earnings ratio indicates whether the stock is undervalued or overvalued. Based on the last 12 months, the earnings per share value is 50.95. Now, we will compare some key financial ratios with the top 1000 NSE stocks. For this purpose, we divide the distribution of these key indicators into 4 parts or quartiles. Quartile region is obtained by dividing all the stocks in 4 buckets, so that each bucket contains same number of stocks. As compared to top 1000 stocks in NSE, Grasim Industries has its beta value in the second quartile. This means the stock exhibits low volatility. Grasim Industries has earnings per share of 50.95, which is higher than 86% of top 1000 NSE stocks. The earnings per share value is very good. Earnings per share is a company's net profit divided by the number of outstanding shares. This is a widely used metric to estimate corporate value. The diluted EPS, compared to similar companies from the same sector, is now shown on the screen. Grasim Industries has price to earnings ratio of 20.28, which is higher than 32% of top 1000 NSE stocks. The price to earnings ratio is in the second quartile. This means the company stock may be undervalued. A high price to earnings ratio may also mean that investors are expecting high growth rates in the future. Price to earnings ratio measures its current share price relative to its per share earnings. The trailing 12-month price to earnings ratio, compared to similar companies from the same sector, is now shown on the screen. Grasim Industries has price to book value ratio of 1.13, which is higher than 26% of top 1000 NSE stocks. The price to book value ratio is in the second quartile. This means the stock may be undervalued. The price to book ratio compares a company's market value to its book value. Book value is net assets of the company. This ratio should be looked at in conjunction with return on equity ratio. A low return on equity combined with high price to book ratio means stock is overvalued. The price to book value ratio from the most recent quarter, compared to similar companies from the same sector, is now shown on the screen. The return on equity value for this stock is not available. The return on equity is calculated by taking company's net earnings after taxes, subtracting preferred dividends, and dividing by the total equity. The return on equity in the trailing 12 months, compared to similar companies from the same sector is now shown on the screen. Grasim Industries has debt-to-equity ratio of 71.58, which is higher than 62% of top 1000 NSE stocks. The debt-to-equity ratio for this stock is in the third quartile, which is not good. A debt-to-equity ratio is company's total liabilities divided by shareholders' equity, and lower value of this ratio is preferred. This ratio is a measure of the degree to which a company is financing its operations through debt versus wholly owned funds. A higher value of this ratio tend to indicate higher risk to the investors. The debt-to-equity ratio from the most recent quarter, compared to similar companies from the same sector is now shown on the screen. Grasim Industries has operating cash flow of 161.8 billion in the past 12 months, which is higher than 91% of top 1000 NSE stocks. The operating cash flow for this stock is in the fourth quartile, which is very good. The operating cash flow in past 12 months, compared to similar companies from the same sector is now shown on the screen. Grasim Industries has levered free cash flow of 120.2 billion in the past 12 months, which is higher than 82% of top 1000 NSE stocks. The levered free cash flow for this stock is in the fourth quartile, which is very good. The levered free cash flow in past 12 months, compared to similar companies from the same sector is now shown on the screen. Grasim Industries has payout ratio of 8.33%, which is higher than 44% of top 1000 NSE stocks. The payout ratio of this stock is in the second quartile, which is not good. The dividend payout ratio provides an indication of how much money a company is returning to shareholders versus how much it is keeping on hand to reinvest in growth, pay off debt, or add to cash reserves. The dividend payout ratio, compared to similar companies from the same sector is now shown on the screen. The company reported an EBITDA of Rs 129.6 billion in year 2020, which is 9% less than the EBITDA from the previous year. The company showcased earnings per share of 67.4 in year 2020, which is 150% more than the APEs from the previous year. Grasim Industries has shown year-on-year increase in stockholders' equity by 1.6% in year 2020. This stock showed year-on-year decrease in stockholders' equity by -2.8% in year 2019. This stock showed year-on-year increase in stockholders' equity by 82.8% in year 2018. Grasim Industries has free cash flow of Rs 120.2 billion in the past 12 months. The free cash flow for the year 2020 was Rs 115.4 billion. Here you can see statistics related to number of shares. 40.70% of shares are held by insiders. 26.82% of shares are held by institutions. Grasim Industries is at position 45th in terms of market capitalization among the Nifty 50 stocks. Grasim Industries is at position 18th in terms of annual revenue among the Nifty 50 stocks. Grasim Industries is at position 2nd in terms of free cash flow among the Nifty 50 stocks. Here, we presented a very simplified assessment of fundamental indicators. We categorized the performance on each indicator by comparing it with top 1000 NSE stocks. On your side, go thoroughly through the financial data before deciding on investing in this stock. Thanks for watching. Hope you hit the like button on this video, and share it with your friends. And do not forget to subscribe this channel.